Cancer, welcome to your weekly Sidereal forecast for July 27th through August 2nd. My name is Athen. So we've got a very simple week in terms of the astrology. We have a full moon taking place in your 7th house of relationships, as well as Jupiter squaring up to Saturn, which is the only major aspect going on this week. So I'm going to go ahead and look at it in detail for you, looking at depositors so we can get a good picture of it this week. So coming into this week, though, it was a very important weekend. We had Saturn squaring up to Uranus, which hopefully prompted you to make some change and some revolutionary, changes in your life relating to the amount of time you're spending, connecting to God, connecting alone, spirituality, meditation, things like that relating to your 12th house, as well as anything relating to your self-expression or career as well, which is Mars ruling both your 5th and your 10th house. So if you have set off on a new direction in regards to those 12th house energies or Mars there in general, that will be a good foundation of the week, and I do recommend it, especially Monday and Tuesday, continuing with that to build those solid foundations for the rest of the week. Now, over the weekend, Uranus did go retrograde, as well as Venus joining the mix with a lot of planets now retrograde. So there is this introverted kind of energy right now at the moment. But right now, this week, the stationary Uranus will be important for you to consider how you can have more enjoyment in your life, to expand your horizons, to tap into that adventurous spirit, because Uranus has been transiting your 9th house, hopefully helping you expand those horizons so that you can have more freedom there and do things like maybe traveling, but traveling not necessarily physically. Maybe it's through reading philosophy, learning astrology, spiritual subjects, things like that. Venus retrograde in that 2nd house now this week. Continue to reflect on any new values that you've been recently enjoying. This is all about the material values in particular. Reflect on, redo, rework anything on that material, financial level, as well as your sort of confidence is going through a sort of renewal process as well. Venus does rule your 11th and 4th house, so reflecting on your groups, friends, and home and family will be important things coming into this week. So that's coming into this week, and then Wednesday, that Jupiter does square up to Saturn within a 1-degree orb going into the following week. And so all of this has been very personal for you, actually. You have a lot of activity right now in your 1st house, which is all about yourself. It's about your self-image, your drive, your ambitions, your goals, working out, using that physical activity. There's still a lot of things with that Mars there behind the scenes, but this 1st house is certainly being activated. You've had a lot of expansion here over the past year almost, with Jupiter transiting the 1st. So that being said, Jupiter is finishing this transit of your 1st house this month. Actually, next week we'll be going into your 2nd, which is about the values and stuff. So that is a nice transition for Jupiter, but before he does, he will be squared up by Saturn, which means any more possibilities for you to expand your horizons. Again, travel, expansion, possibilities, all this stuff that's been opening up for you in the past year in general. You can continue with that this week, but it's important that when you're doing so, to put in that hard work, discipline, constructive energy, which is Saturn, because with this final aspect, with this final transit of Jupiter, rather, there is this sort of tinge of needing to sort of structure and solidify something relating to self or your goals or things like that. Maybe your health, your routine, and also this philosophy as well, since Jupiter rules those parts of your chart. It's a week of certainly this disciplined energy of Saturn, and it's especially involving that 1st house, your 6th house, and your 9th house. So that being said, likewise, Saturn did recently go into your 4th house again this month in July, where now he's going to finish up this transit of your 4th house, where he had been for 3 years prior to this year, which is all about the home, family, past roots. It's your house, Cancer. So with Saturn now, this week with this square, continue to solidify, continue to put in that responsible approach and intention there with structuring home, structuring things with family, past roots, etc., because Jupiter squaring up to that is all about creating opportunities there, possibilities there for Saturn to ground. And that's exactly what Jupiter and Saturn are about. Jupiter's the open possibility, Saturn is the refinement. So with both of those, we essentially have the creation of the universe. We have the creation of things in our life. So it's always nice to have an aspect between these two, and the square is all about active energy and intention. So that's the work week pretty much. We can look at a couple things to get a little bit more indication of this. One is the ruler of Libra, Venus, to see that, through that reflection of your values, of the enjoyments, of the things you enjoy on that material level, or reflecting and redoing perhaps some of those things and maybe finances, will be the way and an opportunity for you to put in this hard work and discipline. Likewise, the sun, who did recently go into your sign. Happy birthday to some of you Cancers who have your birthday this week, and this is for Sidereal Astrology, of course. But your sun in your first house, there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of excitement here about these things relating to self and goals and such. So whatever that is, tap into that. The sun is in a good position here in your sign as well. So all of that will be facilitating this square energy. So that's the work day, and then on our work week, and then on Friday we do have that full moon, which is in that 7th house of relationships and one-on-one connections and business dealings and contracts and legal matters, whatever it is for you personally, but relationships in general. So always a time of awareness now of, this part of your life, as well as whatever these goals have been that maybe you've been working on. Now, you didn't have a new moon in that first, you actually had it in your 12th. So you are in this kind of spiritual lunar cycle right now at the moment. The real new beginnings and such won't be for another 2 weeks until you have that new moon in your first house. But I'm sure you're feeling it. And but in either case, seeing the relationship stuff, reflecting on it, because that's being illuminated, as well as the self and your goals are being illuminated around Friday. It's a good time to reflect on these things, see it, and especially to put in energy and just, do things with your relationships, all kinds of relationships here, and anything business related, whatever it is, put energy into that. And I think you'll find you're able to utilize it, because the full moon is a high time of, in this case, your 7th house of relationships. Also, anything that you started with relationships over the past 6 months involving that 7th house can be a culmination of that stuff as well. And it's also a culmination of a lot of the spiritual stuff you've been working on for the past couple weeks, perhaps also rest, relaxing, that kind of energy. So that's Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday, Saturn does go station direct in that 4th house. So this is all about a shift in perspective, a shift about what you've learned about home and family over the past 5 months with Saturn retrograde. So, well, particularly last month, though, since he did go into your 4th around that time. So here with Saturn, it's starting to put forward now, going into next week. Again, more of those structures and solidifying the 4th house energy. But around the weekend, reflect on that stuff and see how you can make this part of your chart more long-lasting, because Saturn won't be back in your 4th house here for another 27, 28 years. So, it's good to have this so you can build those solid foundations in life. And this is literally, Saturn is the builder and the 4th house is your foundation. So it's whatever that is for you personally there. Now, Saturday and Sunday, we do have Mercury trining up to Uranus, which is a nice aspect. This is all about that reflection on how you can have more expansion and freedom and open your horizons there. We'll be supporting any new intentions you set Saturday and Sunday. It's a good weekend for things like going out into nature, traveling, things like that, with, by treating it as a learning process, right? Because we have that retrograde Uranus there, taking it slow and treating it as such. But in either case, finding that freedom will be unlocking a lot more motivation and drive for you, which, as you can see, has been on the table, but will be more so as we go into next week once Mars goes into your 1st house, and then in 2 weeks when we have that new moon. So in a nutshell, the general gist is certainly the expansion there with self-image, your goals and stuff, to really solidify that, ground that, especially with routine and all this expansion energy, such as philosophy, astrology, grounding that kind of stuff, travel, to make it real and long-term and disciplined, is that Saturn squaring up to Jupiter this week. All right, Cancer, so have a nice week. If you guys have any questions, please let me know, and I'll talk to you all next time.